Well, that's just prime.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to That's Just Prime, a Beast Wars podcast. I'm ArrowFyre, Ian. I'm joined today by my co-host, Chris. Chris, say hello, everyone.
Chris, who's having a giggle because this is the second recording of the start. We'll leave it at that.
I haven't had my coffee yet.
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. I'm even better now because that was a good laugh to start the show. But yeah, I'm doing all right. Happy to be here as usual to record another episode of our lovely podcast that's growing and getting its legs, which is really fun to see. We got some good feedback from last episode where we discussed IDW's Beast Wars The Gathering, which is really fun to record. So go and have a listen to that if you haven't yet. But yeah, we're here. We're ready to record. And yeah, how are you, mate? You doing well?
Yeah, all good. We've got a nice bit of variance to our podcast now, I think, which is pretty good. So we like to break up the episode reviews. The episode reviews are probably the more consistent of our podcast episode, but we do occasional toy casts and we'll go back to those as well. We've just done some comics and we'll go into other Beast Wars centric items and topics of discussion in the fullness of time.
Yeah, for the most part, everything's going to be Beast Wars or eventually Beast Machines related. But yeah, as you say, we're going to vary it up a little bit. We've got some other things in the pipeline as usual, and we'll get to those. If you have any requests, suggestions, or comments, send them through as usual. You know where you can get us. But yeah, let's get into the episode.
Just quickly, just go on. I have had one comment already. It's worth telling you as we're recording this. People are saying, will we be going into the Japanese era of Beast Wars? And I'm very much up for that.
I would absolutely love to. We run a Beast Wars podcast and I haven't watched them. But look, to be fair, I have watched a fair bit over the years in clips and YouTube but I haven't sat down and watched them fully through. So I actually think it would be a fantastic idea to do, even eventually when we're a little less time poor, maybe a little sub series for the Japanese stuff. We might be able to do something that runs along the line. But absolutely. So great question, and 100% we're keen to do that.
We will get there in due course. But today, for our episode 15 of our podcast, we are reviewing episode 12 of season 1, Victory, which sounds a little bit ominous name for an episode, considering we're halfway through the episode listings of
a little premature.
Might as well just call it the end, where it's not. But hey, we start off with looking at the dark side of the episode. So we get a nice typical opening shot and it zooms inside the dark side and you have Megatron trying to effectively grow an energon crystal on the bridge of the dark side. And he's looking at it a bit Dr. Frankenstein-like with the, yes, grow, be my energon. It becomes unstable and it shatters and it breaks. And you hear the instant barking at his lackeys of Pterosaur, get me another energon crystal. Which sparks a row on the bridge between Pterosaur and then Waspinator, and it's all a bit of a soap opera.
Yeah, look, Megs is obviously trying to produce some more energon and stabilize it or whatever he's trying to do, which does the opposite, destabilizes it and turns it into a bunch of confetti. And, yeah, he's not too happy.
We're upgraded from the square confetti from the first pilot, aren't we?
Yeah, we're getting triangles and all sorts of stuff now.
Triangles.
But yeah, as you say, Megs is all too upset that this has failed, and he yells at Pterosaur to go and get him another crystal. And Pterosaur sort of puts his foot down stupidly. Nothing new there. And says, no. I'm sick of following your incompetent lead. You know, pot calling the kettle black here a little bit. And and as this happens, the screen sort of zooms back and we realise we're watching it on a monitor.
Yeah, and this is where we see the bridge of the Axelon, where now, not for the first time, we got a bit of spy cam footage going on. Well, they like to be spying on one another. How they are getting to such points, and they must have some really good electricians. And okay, crawling through air ducts on the Axelon and the dark side has been a consistent theme throughout these episodes, but they're very good at getting CCTV set up on each other's ships. So yeah, we are watching the dark side from the bridge of the Axelon, where you've got Rhinox, Ratrat, Dinobot, and Primal all looking, saying like, oh, they're really going at it, and say, oh, it seemed pretty serious this time. So obviously they've been spying on them for a while. But yeah, quite commonplace to have some spy cam footage now.
Yeah, we get get a bit more argument between the Predacons, and Megatron sort of says, "You're going to regret this." And then again, the Maximal's watching, and Primal's like, "Yeah, we've got a bit of dissension going on here." And Rat Trap goes, "Aren't you glad we've got cable?" Nice little sort of,
great line.
Almost a bit of a breaking the fourth wall thing, because this would have been cable TV in the States back in the day.
90s references.
Yeah. So, yeah, obviously the Preds are having a little spat on the dark side, and the Maximals are enjoying watching the chaos ensue. And we get a bit of exposition with Rhinox saying that they've hardwired a spy camera, and Rat Trap says it was his butt on the line to install it. So is that implying that maybe during Double Jeopardy, by the way, if you haven't watched that or listened to that, go back and do so. But during Double Jeopardy, when he was on the dark side as a quote-unquote Predacon, is that when he got a chance to wire this up? Because it's a good shop, a good opportunity.
I think you're absolutely right there. He must be. He was crawling through the shafts, going everywhere, so it makes perfect sense to do so. He obviously rebranded himself as a Predacon so as not to set off any internal systems. So you would like to think he could have done that. Although saying that, we do hear in one of the other episodes, Fallen Comrades, wasn't it? It was saying like that's the third Predacon in this sector in the last few weeks, to leading us to think that we don't see every expedition and every mission necessarily with every episode. But I think it's as good a theory as you'll come across. Yeah,
look, with the information that we have, I think it's a fair assumption that it could have been when Rat Trap was there. The Preds are dumb enough to start firing on their own boss in the ship, and there's a big Energon containment vessel
exactly, there. Like, not for the first time. They're firing missiles and rockets next to already unstable Energon. I mean, like, you are getting everything you deserve here.
And of course they hit it.
Of course
it explodes. And back on the Axelon, we get some tremors at the base, and they're like, oh, this isn't great.
Do you know what? I like that. It's a very simple thing, but you know, they're not exactly next door, but they're not worlds apart either. I like the idea that there's an explosion and they felt it, rather than, because that could have just been written as watch it and the feed cuts. And, you know, the fact that there was like an aftershock kind of added the gravitas to the situation.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's properly gone. It's properly exploded there.
And I know we sort of fill in the blanks a little bit, which is what the audience is intended to do. But we know that from past episodes that there is an Energon vein running between the bases. So it's likely that, like a fault line, if you have an explosion in one place, the other place is going to feel it fairly well. And that's science with Carnage. We'll be back next Tuesday for more communication errors.
Trying to branch out on his own. How dare he?
Yeah, look, the Maximal scan the base, and Rhinox says there's no signs of life. So they believe that the Predacons are now no more.
Rhinox they're all in their beast modes. Again, a nice little treasure trove that the unstable Energon, but he's holding up his scanner on his little stump leg. He's got like about 6 inches of clearance. I'm like, how on earth? Put it on your horn. You'll probably scan better.
He's got his little stump of a foot, ankle, leg, hoof thing with these little toes.
How did he walk?
How did he put it on? Even if he didn't walk there with it on, how did he put it on? Did Primal put it on for him?
Must have done. He couldn't do a floppy disk in the last episode, so let's assume he's had some help.
Somehow he's put a wrist support and a scanner on.
Yeah.
And again, we're nitpicking, but if you're going to put it on, maybe put it further up your leg so it's not hanging off 4 feet in front of your foot so you can't walk.
You can't walk on it.
It was a very funny shot. It's not the first time or the last time that Rhinox has some sort of scanning device attached to him in some method, so we'll probably see more of those in the future.
So the dark side bridge is destroyed at this point. It's all kind of smoking and looking kind of a rubble, and as Chris has just mentioned, Rhinox is scanning and saying he can't find a Predacon energy signature anywhere. And then they start to go inside the dark side.
Yeah, and Dinobot questions it and says, you know, are your sensors correct? And Rat Trap says they don't lie, and we get a new insult on Dinobot, Dino Dip, for whatever that is.
He's running out of other words he can stick on the end of Dino, but you still don't beat Dino.
There's plenty of words, they just didn't fit for a children's time slot.
Yeah. Yeah, plenty you can't say. But Dinobot is a bit I've got that he's skeptical, but I think he doesn't want to believe it. He's sad.
Yeah.
He's quite sad to see what became of his comrades, because there is a sense of lingering loyalty, I suppose.
Well, he would have spent a long time with them regardless. So love or hate, they were still his comrades at some point. And to your point there, primal almost with a hint of sadness, not because good or bad, but they're other of their own brethren that have potentially died here.
Fellow
And with a bit of
Saturdays,
sadness, he sort of declares that the Maximals may have won the Beast Wars.
It's very somber, isn't he? He's just like, you know,
Another good shot by Gary there.
So Rhinox is then, they're all inside the ship, and Rhinox is going on ahead, and he opens the door to some kind of energon cluster.
We can see Dinobots obviously a little bit sad, as you alluded to. Not that he's sort of selling it too much, but there's a little bit of somberness there. And we get a good scale shot of the robots. I know we go back to the scale thing a lot, but we get a bit of a line-up shot here where we get very masterpiece toy scale accurate, funny enough. But we can see how big Dinobot is just once again. And he sort of wanders off by himself because he wants some alone time.
That's where Rat Trap is a bit... you know,
he's a bit concerned.
You know,
yeah,
he is, but he's kind of like, what's busting his chops? And even Primal's letting out of a bit of an exasperated sigh. I mean, can't you figure it out? You know, like he's just lost his comrades, and he's naturally grieving or brooding, whatever you want to say. But this then carries on into a bit more of a childish scene, I suppose. Dinobot's in the corridor, and he's snuck up on but what looks like Tarantulas' legs in the background. Thinking, what's going on here? And then this is Dinobot. I think he's in robot mode by this point, by memory.
Yeah, they're in robot mode,
He's kind of ready to be pounced on and attack. And it's Cheetor with these faux legs. It says, hey, I got you.
Flopping around,
Flopping around. No. I mean, how pessimistic, like, oh, yes, dismembered limbs. I mean, let's be honest, Tarantulas does have dismembered limbs quite a lot in season 1, so you can imagine some accessories are lying around.
Yeah, and look, Dinobot's a bit upset again here, and I've got the quote here. It's a little bit of a Shakespearean sort of, not directly, but yeah.
Do your best Scott McNeil voice, go on.
Not a chance. Alas, poor Tarantulas, I knew him, Cheetor. This is the leg that stalked so many victims, that it should come to this. And then Cheetor, the little dick. Oh, do you need a hug?
Yeah. Ruined. Perfectly good Shakespeare.
To which, Dinobot is really pissed. And luckily Rat Trap pops in and saves the day real quickly. But again, talking to scale and biting him, you see how big Dinobot's head is compared to Cheetor. It's about the size of his torso, and he's got his robot mode mouth open with all those little teeth showing. He was real keen.
Not the smartest thing Cheetor's ever done, but yeah, a nice little bit of quotation from Dinobot, and we do get a lot more Shakespearean quotes going on. It's weird. I never thought we'd get Shakespearean Transformers, but it works, doesn't it work?
Yeah, and Scott McNeil really delivers them in a serious manner. Like, even though he's playing a silly raptor dinosaur man, he delivers them well. Like, the voice works for it too. Like, it's fair enough. I do enjoy it, and yeah, as you say, there's definitely some more Shakespeare stuff coming.
So as you say, Rat Trap gets hold of him and says, we got what we need for. We got what we came for. We're leaving. Off we go. And they kind of depart, and then they all want to leave the dark side. So really at this point, this is even further development of the Dinobot character, in the sense of, you know, he's skeptical of what he's seen. He's been fighting the Predacons. Now he's sad, and now he's almost grieving. So we see a lot of character development for Dinobot alone, who's kind of seen to be the fan favorite at this point, the front runner character for the cartoon series. And so he's getting a lot of the development straight away. But we're back to the Axolon, and they are working on their transwarp drive, which is this massive engine that we've never seen up to this point. Not one point. And it's quite intact as well.
I've got two notes here. One, we just back to Dinobot. As we get back to the Axolon, we have Dinobot standing outside in his beast mode, just in the storm, sort of pondering things. And as you say, there's a lot of character development here. I think as we've gone on, we've seen that Dinobot holds his cards quite close to him, and he only lets little bits out here and there. He is quite aggressive, but he is a thinker. He's by no means a dummy. So we're getting more and more of that each episode. And as you say, the fan favourite character is really sort of coming into his strides now. And by season 2, he's top tier star of the show. So with the Axolon, that huge room, it's massive. Like, where are they hiding this? This is another room in the TARDIS, obviously. But it looks like it's made for Autobots, not Maximals. It's huge.
It is massive. Now, look, I can appreciate a transport drive is not exactly going to be fitting in your pocket, so it's going to be sizable. But if you look at the outside of the Axelon, that's not exactly, and we're foreboding for the episode, not exactly flight worthy. It's very crumpled. It's a mess. I mean, look at the dark side. It's flooded with lava. This transport drive is looking pretty pristine. Are we led to believe they've been working on this, restoring it? Because it's pretty clean. But anyway, they've taken what they need from the dark side, transport drive or that raw energon or whatever.
Some sort of engine repairing parts.
Some kind of missing ingredient. And they are obviously working on their own. This is where Primal turns and says to the other Maximals in the room, which is really only... I don't think Rhinox is there. Is it just Cheetor and Rat Trap? I don't think... Right. You think Rhinox would be there. But anyway, he turns to the others and says, we'll have to go and get Tigertron and the other pods from orbit. He's finally remembered the pods in orbit.
About time. Rat Trap pulls at some quips as usual, and he says he can hear the crying of the dames here. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And then we get a little surprise appearance from Dinobot and says, actually, maybe that your return is causing their sadness. So we get a little bit of that back and forth again.
He says, hey, an actual comeback. A little lame, but I can tell you're feeling better.
Yeah. Very good. I love it.
And he says basically, I shall not be seeing you again. And Primal says to him, what, you will not be returning with us to Cybertron? And he says, no, on Cybertron, I will be nothing more than a common criminal. And he basically says there isn't any place for him. He won't be told otherwise. Sadly, he's probably right, because whilst he would be seen, and Primal says, at the earlier interaction on the dark side, it won't be like that. We'll say you've worked with us, you've helped us, but you would imagine that any Predacon turncoat or stealing a ship, the Golden Disc, there would probably be some kind of repercussions.
Yeah, I think it was a bit like it was discussed in the probe. I think the general consensus is that he would be supported, but ultimately there would be laws in place and protocol from a military point of view just alone that would need to be followed. And in that sense, he probably would be tried for his war crime type thing. Yeah. So unfortunately, he's probably correct, and I can understand him wanting to stay back. And he sort of goes, well, and this is where his little Predacon side shows a little bit. He'd rather rule on Earth, or what they don't know as Earth yet, but he'd rather rule on Earth than go back and be tried. So fair enough.
Yep. And he says, I salute my former colleague and my former commander, and says goodbye. And Cheetor is kind of sad to want him to go. Rat Trap doesn't say anything at that point, surprisingly. And somewhat of a whimper, Dinobot leaves the Axelon and the Maximals.
We see him walking off from the base with this janky ass raptor walk from behind. Just the way, must be the way the mesh of the character model is, but he's got these big wide hips, like almost if underneath the raptor skin was like a TIE fighter body. He's cut the wings off, and then his legs are attached to those, and he just sort of waddles along. It's very amusing.
So we have a shot of the outside, and it's just a random wilderness, but you see a small white rat trap. It's just a
little albino
rat. Yeah, a very white one, and he is nearly squashed. He's just going about his normal rat business. This isn't a Beast Wars character, a Transformer, or any kind, but nearly gets squashed on Dinobot and falls down a ravine with a very comical Looney Tunes splat against the wall. As it falls down. And then we find out that he's going to be lunch for a certain Predacon.
Yeah, the Preds are all hidden away down there, and we get an evil, maniacal, twisted laugh, and next thing we see Tarantulas having a snack.
This leads to one of my favourite interactions. So all of the Predacons are in hiding. It was a ruse. It was me, Austin, all along. You can leave that in there if you want.
Yeah, it definitely will be. If anyone else gets that reference, let us know.
But you've got all of these Predacons, so we are listed here with Tarantulas, Waspinator, Black Arachnia, Scorponok, Megatron, all in their beast forms. Again, ravines, chasms. They do like them in this show, but they're all hiding somewhere. They do really ravines, like a chasm, don't they?
Yeah. It was even in the comics. Again, go back and listen.
Yeah, they do. They really love a chasm. But they're hiding, and Tarantulas is scoffing on this little this little white rat, to which a little bit of like slop or saliva comes out and goes onto Pterosaur's head. And he says, "Stop slobbering on me, Tarantulas, and I am feasting." And then you get Waspinator coming at the background, who's got like Tarantulas' abdomen, backside, right in his face. He said, "Oh, Waspinator think Tarantulas fat enough already." And he's like, "If Waspinator stops cuddling me at nighttime like a stuffed toy, I'll eat him as well. I'd like to see you try." "No, you won't." "Yes, I will." And great little intermingling.
They're just a bunch of idiots. Like they really are. So it turns out, just by dumb luck, that the Preds had, because they're all idiots, one of them had tripped over a cable. And that cable happened to be attached to the spy camera that was installed by
scientific than that, is it?
And Megatron says, "Well, if it wasn't for you bumbling around, then we wouldn't be able to pull off this little," and he says very clearly, I assume they did this on purpose, deception.
Deception.
Yeah.
Very good. Yes. Very nice. And yes, and even then the cloaking element gets explained by probably the only person of the Predacons who's serious enough, is Black Arachnia, saying, "Don't forget, my cloaking experiment is only experimental," or worse to that effect. Basically saying they're masking their energy signatures so they can't be detected.
And Megatron says, "Look, it doesn't really matter too much. All we need to do is wait for the Maximals to repair their ship so we can attack, steal the ship, go get those stasis pods and build ourselves an army, essentially."
Playing a long game, as always.
Yeah. So Dinobot discovers the Preds, but while he's looking down, he knocks some rubble or some rocks down into the chasm, which twigs to Megatron, and they see him and think, uh-oh. They send the flyers up after him. Then somehow the rest of the Preds appear on the surface. I don't know how they got up there so quickly. Well. Yeah. But we get a cool transformation sequence with the rest of them. So Waspinator and Pterosaur are already in the air, but we get Black Arachnia, Scorponok, Tarantulas and Megatron all transforming on the surface. So we haven't had one of those for a while. It was nice to see.
And we hear Dinobot effectively saying to us, because no one's around to talk to, he says, "The Predacons survive. I must warn Optimus." And he's running back again. He's running back in robot mode. "You're a Velociraptor, one of the
Transformer boy.
Go quicker, man."
I don't know what it is with Dinobot. Doesn't matter what form he's in, he always looks funny running.
He is a funny runner. He's a
Ministry of Silly Walks. I think he needs a affiliate membership.
I didn't think you get a Monty Python reference in there, but well done.
We'll always try and get something in. Look, back at the Axelon, we see Tigatron at the base for the first time, actually. We've not seen him in any form of structure outside of caves and chasms. But he says he's
been in the dark side more than he's been in the Axelon.
He has, yeah. He says, this is the first time being in here, and you can tell he's a little uneasy about it. But he's there as requested, and they inform him that they're leaving. So take a seat, pretty much.
Yeah, I like that we get Tigatron in the Axelon showing his unsteady side. Again, he's much more one with nature than he is the mechanical side, but it's quite easy. It's like, take a seat. And I'm like, he's probably never operated a console war for a very long time, so he's just going to expect to know what to do. But he takes a seat anyway. And at this point, Dinobot is trying to radio in. But is it Communication Tuesday, Chris?
Probably is a Tuesday. Look, they power up the ship ready to lift off. We get a line from Rhinox saying that it's 3 cycles until liftoff. So we can assume that that's probably 3 minutes. At least we've got a window that we can work with here, maybe.
Is it a megacycle? What is it going to be?
Unicycle.
Unicycle. Recycle.
They do notice that on the comms that Dinobot is legging it inbound with Preds in tail. He cops a missile to the back, which sends him flying, hits the dirt, and the Maximals are sort of like, what do we do here? Dinobot realizes, turns around, fires off a couple of blasts of his laser vision and sort of takes out a couple of Preds and sends the others scurrying behind some rocks. Done well there, considering his back's a mess.
Yeah. I mean, we get a nice shot there of their seeing, like, it's Dinobot. He's changed his mind. He's coming back. So we're all looking on the screen. We see Dinobot running back, and I think it's Rhinox who exclaims it. He's like, "Oh, it's Dinobot. He's coming back." Trouble is, he's not alone. And you see like the hillside coming into view of all these Predacons coming up over the horizon, and That's when he realised he's being shot in the back. So that cable TV is actually doing quite well. They're getting landscape shots now and everything.
They've got a good production crew on today.
Not bad, is it?
Yeah,
Sentinel's earning his keep.
Well, I don't know about Sentinel. He's filming, but that's about all. Look, Primal says he's going to go after Dinobot, and Rhinox warns that he only has 2 cycles now till liftoff. So again, we can probably assume that we've got 2 minutes here. It's probably been about a minute since he said 3 or thereabouts. Assume is the key word here. We're really making assumptions.
Yeah. This entire podcast is based on assumptions, but it's
that's just assumptions.
That's just assumptions. Welcome to that's just assumptions. But you get the very stern line from Rhinox to Primal here, really adding to the gravitas of the situation, saying, if you go out there, the launch process has started. I can't shut it down. Primal quips back and says, I don't want you to. If we're not back when it's time to go, you take off. And he's like, no way. That's a priority order. And it's just like, you're getting the intenseness of this situation.
We see Primal grab a shield that we've never seen before as well. It's
a big riot shield, isn't it?
Out of the bulkhead, yeah, a big Cybertronian riot shield. And Cheetor demands that he's going to go and help him, to which sort of Primal reluctantly agrees because he is quick and can get to him fast, etc. But we do get a funny spot here. Tigertron's also like, I must help my comrades. And Rhinox goes, bullshit, you sit down. And he goes, but, like a little kid almost. This isn't the lines they use, but this is how you see it. Yeah, and Rhinox goes, no, sit. You get this really sheepish, like, okay, hands in the air, I'm sitting.
The thing is, Tigertron's easily the size, if not taller than Rhinox, but he proper like quivers, doesn't he, too? But this is
talking of gravitas, Rhinox has got it when he wants it.
This is zero fucks given Rhinox in every sense of the word. But going back to the armory style, where did they get this? Like, it's like a whole alcove of riot shields. I mean, like, you could have used these weeks ago. But okay, he's got a big riot shield. That's good. And I think this is the first time he closes down his battle mask to the full visor.
Yeah,
the first time we see it. He definitely does, because I know the scene changes. The visor, not his eye visor, his mouthpiece comes down, so he's very much got the Optimus Prime face mask on the go.
We've only seen it very sparingly. So we saw it in guerrilla warfare.
Yes.
When he flew into the Pred ship. And I don't think we've seen it much other than that.
You do see it. We're foreboding for a certain stasis pod flying episode later on. But we'll get there in due course.
It's been used sparingly when it's like it's serious time. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
guerrilla warfare was the first one.
Yeah.
And then Cheetor's like, he's like, no, you got to stay here. He's like, oh, but besides, Cybertron wouldn't be the same without you. And this is very much, he can't let his dad bod go out on a dad bot, I should say, not dad bod. He'll get a dad bod eventually, but it's not there yet. His dad bot, his hero, go out there. He has to go and help, and it makes sense. But yeah, Tigertron tries and is quickly put in his place. Yeah,
Primal flies out. Shield in front, taking all the shots, and he's really copping it as he flies out.
He's getting some flack, isn't he?
Yeah, and he lands with Dinobot. Dinobot sort of says this is strategically unsound.
Which is a rubbish way of saying thanks for coming to get me.
Yeah, pretty much. And he's got Cheetor covering him, which doesn't do very much, to be honest. And
no, he doesn't.
As Primal goes to take off, and he's sort of flying backwards with Dinobot under one arm and the shield and another defending, and old dickhead Pterosaur pops up behind him and takes them both out. And shortly afterwards, Cheetor gets taken out too. Now we'll go back to our sound design on the show here. We haven't had a sound discussion for a little while. We get some really cool charge up sort of pulse lasers from Megatron's T-Rex head here, which is really... It's similar to Dinobots, but it's not the same sound. They definitely try to have those individual sounds for different weapons. But yeah, we get some really cool sort of... He fires off a few in different directions. I like it.
Yeah, there is a good bit of, as we said before, the individual sound bites of the weaponry is very distinguishable, but it adds more of a signature to it. And even when you get that kind of flurry of shots from Cheetor, who kind of looks up at Pterosaur, snarls, and he just lets off quick shots, rapid fire, he's shooting off at anything in particular, and then gets blindsided himself. But it's a nice sound bite that you hear, very akin to his character. But at that point, Primal's been hit. He's down. I mean, Primal did have a bit of an impossible task there because Dinobot's massive. Primal's already trying to carry himself and this shield. And he's, I don't know, maybe trying to fire from his arm cannon at the same time. He's trying to do a lot on his own, which, okay, no one else is going to fly out to help him. No one else could, but it was a bit of an impossible task. And all it took was one shot from Pterosaur. But at that point, we get Tigatron, who's realized that, yes, Sentinel has guns.
Yeah, Megatron orders the attack on the Axelon, but Tigatron's got other ideas here, and he takes out the Preds with the ship guns quite easily, I might add. Like,
pretty easily.
Few shots, Pred's down.
How about you leave with that next time?
Yeah, pretty much. We know we've got autocannons. We know Sentinel works now. Like, why are we waiting this long? Take out the Preds, then get Dinobot.
So this is where we're getting a bit of a last-ditch attempt. So Cheetor is effectively collapsed on the downward lift that's
the service
extended,
lift or whatever it is.
He's kind of hanging with one fold because at this point, the megacycles or the cycles are up. The Axelon is beginning to come to life and take off. And by hook or by crook, it's getting off the ground. And you see this very cool shot of a very limp Cheetor with one hand just hanging over the edge. It's starting to raise and drift to the ground. And this very desperate looking shot of Primal carrying Dinobot in his arms, just walking incredibly slowly towards the Axelon.
Yeah, and at this stage, Primal's forced back into his beast mode due to energon build-up, typical Season 1 problem. And we get a cool shot of the warp core, which that's what it kind of looks like, powering up as the ship starts taking off.
Primal, in his last-ditch effort, uses whatever strength he can, and he throws, showing the strength of Primal. He
full yeets.
every yeet of every kind. And he lunges
all the yeets, the biggest yeet.
Yes. The yeet from last year, he uses that as well. And up it goes. And on goes Dinobot onto this panel. And eventually Cheetor and Dinobot are saved, but sacrificing himself by doing so, leaving Primal behind. He can't turn into robot mode. He can't fly up to him.
Well, he does his best effort and he loads up those gorilla legs and sort of yeets himself up there as well and just gets Cheetor by the hand. But unfortunately, Scorponok, the little prick, has got one nice little missile straight for them, hits their hands, and poor old Primal plummets back down to the ground.
Slow motion, desperation, sad music shots.
That self-appointed second command, he's a real dickhead.
Don't worry, he gets his comeuppance. We'll say that much. But yeah, we get that point, and it's pretty desperate. The lift retracts, and they look at themselves. The other Axelon members, Rat Trap, Tigatron, and Rhinox, look, and just Dinobot and Cheetor reciprocally shake their heads as if to say Primal didn't make it. And he gave an order, and the Axelon at this point is getting some serious height. It's getting up in the air.
Yeah, and we do see a certain Barney the dinosaur absolutely sprinting up the hill and leaping and sort of getting onto the bottom of the ship by a cable or something that's hanging below. And we don't know what's going to happen there yet, but Megatron's made it to the ship. Dinobot says that the Maximals should have left him behind, and Rat Trap tells him to pull his head in because Optimus made the sacrifice for you. So he should be happy.
Yeah, but Megatron has other ideas, and he makes it onto, first time, the bridge of the Axelon. And he quite quickly takes out all of the Maximals on there in short order. And you can argue that Cheetor and Dinobot are suffering a little bit, but he really has a go with all the others. Now, I've got a note here of where the bloody hell is Sentinel at this point? Predacon energy signature detected. Come on, get the cannons on the go.
So we got Megatron. He appears in the bridge somehow. Like, how the fuck did he get inside? Like, is Sentinel asleep again? He either had to blast his way in, he either had to open a hatch. Surely it would have said, unauthorized access, or they would have heard an explosion. He just appears in the bridge like this.
He would have, one form or another, no way did they have T-Rex sized vents. I mean, I know vents are quite popular in these ships, but they're not going to have T-Rex or Megatron-sized vents. So he must have come up one of the service lifts.
And the Maximals don't have a duct to create new vents for them. So
of course, no. Ducts are in short order in the Maximal squad.
Yeah. And speaking of silly things, Megatron takes out essentially the whole crew except for Rat Trap, like they're standing still. Because guess what? They're just standing there, and they just let him.
They're gorming at him, aren't they?
Yeah. And he takes them all out, and Rat Trap's the only one left standing. And Rat Trap is about to maximize, and he just gets a dinosaur head wrapped around his body. which I want to replicate when the MPG comes out. It's a cool shot.
Yeah, I know, right? Rhinox then decides to go, do you know what? No, I can take you on. And Rhinox, showing his big boy strength, effectively
Yep.
throws Megatron
Proper
off the
big
ship
boy.
like he's absolutely nothing.
Yeah, he gives him a big right hook to the face, picks him up, somewhere between a pile driver and a body slam into the lift shaft, and then
I've got a pile driver.
down he goes outside the ship. Like, Rhinox is real serious this episode. He wants to get home and he's not letting any of this nonsense get in the way.
Bit foreboding for the next episode where you get a bit of a unhinged Rhino, I should say.
Stay tuned. In the scramble of Rhinox getting rid of Megatron, you see his dinosaur tail fly off. Now, we'll get to that in a moment, but I don't think that dinosaur tail returns to Megatron. It's not Optimus Prime's trailer. It doesn't just pop up when he transforms. So does he have a wardrobe at home? Like, is there multiple dinosaur tails ready to go? It's part of his beast mode. He can't just it's not like a skinks. It doesn't fall off and he grows another one. He's got to, he's got to get it from somewhere.
I think there are multiple parts. We've seen it before, haven't we? Wasn't it in the Guerrilla Warfare episode where Scorponok has his workstation? For some reason, he has a random black arachnia claw.
True. Yeah, maybe he has a spare tail.
Yeah, and then we have earlier this episode with Tarantulas' legs just lying around. So spares and repairs are in abundance.
They go see the duck first. I've lost a tail. Have you got a spare for me? Go to the maintenance department, see the duck.
Go see the duck. But yeah, the sword-like element, the dino tail, which he's more or less used as a sword, is jammed into one of the Sentinel consoles or the Axelon consoles, and it causes the ship to go into freefall, and it does cut out its engines pretty midstream and starts to plummet down at a rapid rate of knots.
Yeah, it happens to stab into the assumably steel or metal desk. Somehow it flies through the air and just smacks it through a desk. Yeah, and that desk just so happens to be hooked up to the propulsion systems of all desks in this big round command room.
Not the engine room, the flight deck.
Yeah, the flight deck.
That stops the engines going is not the engine room, but the actual command station. But now, okay, look, we'll forgive him for that.
I love this scene. It's so dumb, but
it's dumb, isn't
it? It's so dumb. It's dumb, really but what they're parodying, I love. I'm a massive fan of. I'm not going to bury the lead yet, but we get Rat Trap saying, "We're all going to die," and then we.
Because they're all in kind of gravity lost situation.
We get
so they're flying.
Wait, look, down in the sky. Is it a bird? And then Rhinox, maybe it's a plane. Nah, it's Optimus. And then we get proper Superman style, even with the ascending heroic music. We get Primal hunched over, full prime jets in like overdrive, flying up with the Axelon, like proper, like if you've seen 2006 Superman, like when he flies with the island at the end of the film, like to get rid of it into space, and he's like hunched under it, like powering it up, proper Superman style. The music's got that little hint of it there, like the composer is just got just that very slight copy there, but not quite. It's almost reboot intro-esque as well, like the reboot intro. It's very similar to that.
Very upbeat, isn't it? Yeah.
But yeah, we get this cool shot of Primal with the Axelon on his back, lowering it down. Now, to add to the dumbness, first of all, we saw the Axelon not only lifting off, but going forward before. Secondly, the initial shot where he's lowering it down is over like a grass area, but somehow the Axelon lands exactly where it was before. Not near it. Not adjacent, exactly between the same bloody rocks. Like, why?
Okay, let me pick up on this because you're right. Yeah, they got the whole. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? And it's Optimus. Now it is a good intro. The music does make it a bit cheesy, and you're right. It's very reboot. But he gets right underneath the nose cone of the ship in freefall, gives it every jet he possibly could. I mean that is a show of strength. I mean, early he's been battered in battle. He's thrown up Dinobot some distance as well, and now he's got enough strength left over to lift a ship down.
The sheer amount of thrust on those prime jets is mind-boggling.
Just a bit, yeah. But he's really given it full beans, but that's exactly what I've got. he puts it down and exactly
Full beans.
I will,
He's a Heinz beans factory at this point. Like it's just,
he's every bean that's ever
yeah,
been,
every
and never
bean
will be.
that will bean and has
It
been.
will be. Best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. But anyway, he puts him down on task.
I hate Bill Goldberg. The beans hate Bill Goldberg too. Keep going with it. We're off the rails.
Yeah, but now, okay, yes, he puts him down in exactly the same spot. I'm going to say that's for ease of animation. But,
Look, I know it is, but it's ridiculous.
It's a precarious position that they were in first time around. It's in between two cliffs that's barely hanging on. Don't put it back there. Find a flat bit of land.
Right next to it, there's a field. Yeah. Just put it in the field.
Like 20 meters over me, you were fine. But it's just like, no, for the sake of consistency, I'm putting it here. But anyway,
we might need this for later.
Yeah, I know, right? But you get a bit of a sad ending. He's back on the bridge. Primal, this is. Shidor gives him a nice hug. He's glad to have him back. And he just says, damage report. And Rhinox comes back with a fairly grim line of, in a word, busted. She won't fly again.
Yeah.
I mean, the Axelon it was pretty much an effort to get it off the ground for this episode, but it definitely won't go anymore.
Yeah, we flick over to Rat Trap and Dinobot, broken through the front of a CR chamber. They start arguing like old times.
Yeah,
just back and forth at each other.
How the battle's gone, and it's like, oh well, we're back to normal, and then they kind of have an outside panning shot, and it's a very jovial end. I'm like, okay, this episode didn't exactly go well for the Maximals, other than getting Tigatron into the base and maybe a bit more integrated with the squad. Nothing really worked for the Maximals. If anything, this is a victory for the Predacons, and I don't know why it was to have a light-hearted end. Maybe they didn't want to have the dour tone of the probe.
Yeah, I would assume that it was just purely for the audience to have a happy ending. It's like laughing instead of them being depressed. But in reality, they would have been depressed. Like,
yeah,
their plans
win
just
here.
Yeah, it's not gone well for them. They've done more damage to the ship, and they've not got home. Like,
yeah, they've had hopes dashed of getting home now in 2 episodes. So it's a bit like, you're right to feel glum at this point, because it's it's not really going your way. It will do, but not right now.
Yeah, look, I'm a fan of this episode. I like it. There's lots of cool, fun little bits in it. It has, I wouldn't say it's got a lot of stakes, but it's got beans. No, but
you tried to get that in, didn't you?
It's just as soon as I said steaks, I thought food. I must be hungry.
You must be hungry. Have you not had dinner?
No, I had dinner. That's why I was late to the recording. No, look, there's not a lot of stakes in this episode, but they're continuing that trend of wanting to get home. It moves things along. We got lots of character development with some characters here, especially Dinobot. You get Tigatron back in the episode. So there's some fun stuff here. We get the silly stuff as well, so that's a bit of fun. So I enjoy it. It's an enjoyable episode, this one.
Yeah, we get a nice ravine. We get the Predacons squabbling. That was quite cool. You do see a lot of development within Dinobot, I will say that. But yeah, I think it's good, because you can't have the heroes winning every week. So they need something to put them in place. But I guess you are still very fresh in the mind of the probe, and how, they could have been at least identified by Cybertron and the Maximals, and knowing where they are and are they alive. And they didn't get that. And so now it's a bit like, well, you didn't even break out the atmosphere. It's kind of a gut punch, sadly. It's a good episode to watch. It's quite a fun one, even with the cheesy quip towards the end of Primal literally carrying everyone. Super Primal, saving it all. But there's a lot to like. But we see things like the Riot Shield makes an appearance. I should say Tigatron's in there. It's a good packed episode.
Yeah, there's some nice development, as you say. We've got some nice nods and things to the time with the cable TV. We got Conan the Barbarian reference earlier when he's Tigatron the Barbarian when he gets to the ship.
Oh, yeah.
We got the Superman reference, which was big in the 90s too. So there's some nice pop culture stuff in there. As you say, the development with Dinobot, and we're getting more of that Shakespearean stuff happening, which is cool. So look, I like this episode. It's just a good, fun, solid episode. Definitely worth a watch, of course. And
wouldn't say there's necessarily overarching story to it, other than knowing the fact that
it's almost the opposite. It's almost the opposite. There's a lot of throwbacks to previous episodes. So specifically the previous episode with the probe, with where it sort of explained why Dinobot is so hesitant to go back to Cybertron. So we get that throwback. And then even though we've made the assumption, there is that throwback of how they got this spy camera into the base in the first place, which would have been on that like Double Jeopardy or one of those where they were in the dark side. So look, yes, it's not overarching going forward. It's not involving the alien race or any of that stuff that we've got hints of so far, but it's fair enough. It's a good episode.
Oh yeah, and I think you made a really good point there about the previous episode. If anything, this is like a two-parter, isn't it? This could easily be Probe Part 2, couldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Following
I think so. An unsuccessful attempt to signal back to Cybertron, the Maximals then are like, we've got an opportunity to get to Cybertron ourselves. So you can view it as a two-parter. Maybe it was even written as such.
They literally could have put one extra scene in at the start of this and made it a two-parter.
Easily.
Like just something, a piece of dialogue that tied the two episodes together, and you wouldn't have batted an eyelid because you're like, oh yeah, they're still trying to get home. Plans going forward. Let's try another angle. But look, it is what it is. They're two separate episodes in the sense of the show, but you could, definitely tie them together a little bit. But yeah, that was Victory, which is episode 12 of season 1.
So now we're going to do what we didn't do last episode. We're going to read out some questions that we've got.
So we've got a couple of questions this time. We'd like more, so please get them in via social media. I'll let Ian go first, and then I'll do mine. But we've just got the 2 for this episode.
So first one from Daniel Collins, who's listened and written into the show before, saying, if you could be any Beast Wars era character, who would you be and why? Go on, Chris, I'll let you start that.
Oh, geez.
And why is your answer Dinobot?
Yeah, why is my answer not Dinobot? Who would I be? It'd be fun to be Optimus Primal. He's got...
Which one? Which
this is the thing. Season 1 Primal, he's got, from a toy point and a show point, he's got so many gimmicks. He's got lots going on. He can fly. He looks like a superhero. He's got all the guns, got the weapons. He seems like a cool dude. And then it would be fun being Optimus, like having jet modes and truck modes and, being huge and jacked. Yeah. But, I don't know. I will fully admit, transparency, I don't often think about being a Transformer as much as I love Transformers.
Why not? It's literally all that occupied my mind at age 8.
Well, that's fair. Probably when I was a kid. Yeah, look, I know it's a bit dull, but maybe Optimus Primal.
Particularly, you've heard he can lift up a spaceship.
And as I alluded to earlier, I am a massive Superman fan, so it's fresh in my mind. Optimus Primal. I know that's a bit of a cop-out, but I think so.
All right. I'll give I could think of many questions, particularly if you go into like the source book and get some of the, who do we have?
Yeah, well, that's a good point. Are we talking show or just all of Beast Wars?
Any Beast era. Any Beast era.
Yeah.
So, he's going to get 2 choices now. This is greedy, isn't it?
It's Polyclaw on there.
God, any time to get it. I'm surprised you didn't pick Bulbasaur, to be honest.
No, I'll go with Primal. I'll stick with Primal.
You'll stick with Primal, will you? Yeah. Okay, I will go.
And you're going to blow me out of the water with something really cool now, aren't you?
Of course I am. And I'll say one name and we will be ashamed with your one. I'm going Rampage.
Look, it popped into my head, but then, you know what put me off being Rampage? It's got a really
maniacalness and the fact
No, I'm already unstable. That's fine.
Taken from you that could be squeezed at any moment. No, I can't think of any downside.
He's got an awkward robot mode. I feel like it would be tough
doesn't get through
in
doors
daily
easily.
life. Yeah, he's got some shoulder pads on him.
Inconvenient. Okay, you're worried about fitting through doors. He will blow off the bloody doors.
Just transform into tank mode and.
Yeah, exactly. No, come on. You can be a crab, a chromy crab as well, and you can, be a tank. He's got a massive missile launcher. The slight downside that you had your heart surgically removed from your chest.
He gets a half brother. He gets family. It's okay.
Yeah,
that hates him. Another character that did pop into my head really quickly is Magnaboss, but it's 3 robots, and they're 3 individual robots. They're not like...
It's not like a Magmatron, is it?
Yeah, it's not. So I couldn't use that, but that would have popped into my head. But yeah, Primal for me, Rampage for you.
Lio Prime or Lio Convoy would be, no, Big Convoy, sorry.
Big Convoy would be cool.
Yeah, to be the hulking mass. But no, I'm going to stick with Rampage. He's brilliant.
Yep, I'm happy with those answers. So thanks, Daniel. We appreciate your question. Feel free to send more in. Our second question is from Steve from Stevenage, old Skywarp SCS, good buddy of the show and a great guy all around. His question is, if you had the opportunity to add one toy-only character from the 1996 line, Beast Wars line, into the Beast Wars show and make them part of the core cast, who would it be? So, Ian, I'll throw over to you. Who would you pick from the 96 toy line?
It's hard to look past Razor Beast, isn't it? It's hard to say he wasn't. I mean, look at him now, as we said in the last episode.
Especially after reading that comic.
Yeah, he's front and center, and he gets a good run out in 2001, the 2021 comic, of Beast Wars of IDW. He gets a good flesh out. He's got nice cult status, and I just kind of feel, if you think of the episode we just reviewed with Victory, he easily could have been on the Axelon crew, couldn't he? He could have been 100%. Firing, doing like Tigertron would, and I like Tigertron. I don't mean to replace him, but yeah, Razor Beast is. I suppose he would be very similar to Rat Trap, I guess, in that sense. He would be the quippy scout, if anything. So you could say that role was already taken. But the guy has got a lot of cult status, considering he wasn't front and center in the cartoon. So yeah, he would be my choice.
I feel like he could have easily been interchangeable with Rat Trap, because Rat Trap's kind of like an oversized rat to fit with his sort of robot mode, where you could have had Razor Beast in that role about that size and it would have fitted pretty well. And yeah, you could have had that sort of cocky, sort of jokester type role there. But yeah, Razor Beast is a great pick. You could probably answer mine for me since we're doing the 96 toys.
I'll say it twice.
Well, I am. Easy pick for me. If we're going now, if we went to 97, easiest answer for both of us probably, which would be Magnaboss. But we're not talking 97. Talking 96, it's got to be Polar Claw. And again, if we want to flick back to the Gathering, what a showing from Polar Claw in that. I can imagine that in the show. Super aggressive, massive polar bear just ripping up Predacons left, right, and centre.
All right, I'll quickly say this. A lot of foreboding, so I'll quickly get this done. Tigerhawk, when he comes in later, I'm not the biggest fan of Tigerhawk you ever find. Polar Claw would have been a better introduction, a better use of a character. They needed the muscle, they needed the size, because Primal, Dinobot, and Rhinox were the big heavies, but they weren't always available at any one point, and you kind of felt you needed that hulking, heavy presence.
Especially once you had Rampage and Inferno and all, like these big, strong Preds.
Yeah, you needed something to counterbalance that. And I really felt that the Maximals needed that. When Primal as well wasn't particularly tall, big, he was strong, yes, but, on a smaller size and got bigger with the other incarnations. But yeah, they really could have used Polar Claw in a lot of these battles.
Yeah, obviously if anyone that's listening to this wouldn't know, but I am a Polar Claw fan. I love Polar Claw.
It's like people saying, if anyone doesn't know me, that don't know I'm a Razor Claw fan. We know. We get it.
But yeah, look, easy answer for us, Steve. Polar Claw and Razor Beast. They had awesome showings in The Gathering. They've got awesome showings in other comics. They're great toys. So, easy answer. Yeah. And honestly, we're not mucking around. I assume that I'm correct, Ian. Magnaboss would be an easy pick if we were 1997.
But then we've got to get into Tripredacus, and it would just add a huge layer.
Put the combiners in the show, I would be the happiest man.
And you still want Polar Claw, so you can't have it both ways.
But awesome questions, guys. Really appreciate you sending those in.
Absolutely. Shout out to Steve as well. Well done for getting your collector's article published on TF Source with Sixo's help there. So well done. That was a good read.
Absolutely. And please do subscribe to Steve's YouTube channel. He's doing some really good videos. He's got a little following going now, but he deserves a lot more. So please go along and check him out. You'll find him on Twitter and Blue Sky and YouTube and all that stuff.
Absolutely. Okay, well, that was our episode recap for episode 15, the Victory episode. Really good fun. Really enjoyed doing the recording. So all that's left to say is where you're going to find us. So you will find us on many podcast derivatives such as Podbean, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Spotify, all the typical places you will find us under That's Just Prime, a Beast Wars podcast. We're also on YouTube where we upload it in WAV format. So if anyone wants to watch it live when it premieres, there's an opportunity to chat along and watch it as it premieres live. Do give that a subscribe as well. Chris, where can the good people find you on the interwebs?
Well, of course, on YouTube, Carnage Creations. I really appreciate anyone that comes and watches my videos. My last review, I did put a little podcast snippet in the back there if anyone checks that out. So if you
saw that was good.
If you want to see some older stuff, that's on there. Of course, Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, all the usual places. If you're new, fair enough. Everyone else probably knows by this point.
Absolutely. You'll find me on YouTube as well with ArrowFyre with a Y, but also you'll find me Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, and all the other places as well. So thanks for watching. That's us done for this week. As always, we will see you on the next one.
Goodbye. Thanks.
Well, that's just prime.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. Yes, my name is ArrowFyre, and welcome to Let's Talk. No, that's my own stuff. Let's do that again, shall we?
Have it.
One for the outtakes.